Second place is a myth. If we didn't have Bruno Fernandes getting them goals, getting all them assists, but still Mason Greenwood's doing bits and still our performance is hit and miss. Got a knuckle down like close fists, cause first half had me nervous shitting bricks, but second half had me gas doing backflips like what? Second place is a myth. If we didn't have Bruno Fernandes getting them goals, getting all them assists, but still Mason Greenwood's doing bits and still our performance is hit and miss. Got a knuckle down like close fists, cause first half had me nervous shitting bricks, but second half had me gas doing backflips like what? Second place is the MMF. If we didn't have Bruno Fernandes getting them goals, getting all them assists. Woo! Yo, it's your boy Firms, and this is the OT99 Banter Room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Let's go! Look, I'm so gashed today. Manchester United 2, Brighton 1. Manchester United got the victory, got the 3 points, and we are now finally starting to establish a gap from third place. Manchester United currently sit about 3 or 4 points ahead of Leicester City right now. You know what? I could have asked for more, to be honest. Manchester United really needed that win. It feels like every game is a final. It feels like every game is just a big game for us. And Brighton didn't fail to deliver in terms of the intensity of the game. As a Manchester United fan, I was at the edge of my seat. I mean, United never make it easy for ourselves. When we're playing anyone, we just never make it easy. And today was another day where we just didn't make it easy. We went down, conceded, and had to come back and score, equalize, and then go on to get the winner. But anyway, before I get into all of the details, I want to first say, start talking about the lineup, because the lineup today was an exciting lineup. For me, it looked like a very attacking lineup. I saw the likes of Greenwood, Rashford, Cavani, Bruno behind them, and you know what, it was probably the lineup that I would pick as Manchester United's strongest attacking lineup. I've always been saying, not always, but here and there I would say that Martial needs a rest. The racism stuff that happened, I don't know if that was affecting him, but also he just hasn't been scoring enough. He's been working hard here and there, hold up play and all of that stuff. As a general striker, has been doing well. He's been getting his Bobby Firmino type sway going on, but in terms of goal scoring prowess, it's been a bit minuscule this season. He hasn't scored that many goals, and I was happy to see him not in their team. I don't know if it was because he was injured or whatever. Probably is because he's injured. But I was happy to see the lineup and that attacking threat. I was happy to see Cavani back again. It feels like every time we get a bit of Cavani, we start to get comfortable, get used to Cavani. He's either injured or something along the lines where you just don't see him again. So I was happy to see him in a starting lineup. Obviously, the back four always remains the same. Lindelof, Maguire. I think the most interesting bit in the team where I was thinking, what's going to happen in terms of the lineup was David De Gea and Dean Henderson. And obviously you saw today that Henderson got the nod over David De Gea. And to be honest, you know what, I can't be mad at that, because Dean Henderson has been playing well. He's been performing when he's been, he's had a few blips, when he let that goal go in, when, he leaned back a bit too much. And, but overall, Dean Henderson's a good keeper. He's been doing well. And, I'm not surprised that he kept his place. Although it'll be interesting to see who plays in Europa game against Granada, because it's usually Henderson playing in those games and David De Gea playing in the Premier League. Obviously, David De Gea went to see his missus and see the birth of his child and be with his family, which is why Dean Henderson came in the first place. But I thought David De Gea will come right back in, but obviously that hasn't happened. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the Europa League game against Granada. But the team, like I said, looked a threat. It looked attacking. But in the first half, it was surprising, whenever I think like this and then the game kicks off, I'm always like, oh. And this is how I felt against Leicester when we got battered. I thought the team actually looked decent. But anyway, going back to the lineup. So I thought it looked decent. The first half was poor from us, I must say. We looked flat as usual. We never start the game off with a bang, kicking. And then we go down to a cross into the box. I mean, corners, set pieces, whipped crosses into the box. Manchester United always struggle to deal with it. I feel like we really do need a towering centre-back if we can't manage to get our tactics right, or our defensive tactics right. I just feel like probably we do need to get the Florentina centre back that we've been linked to. Was it Milinkovic or whatever his name is? Because our aerial threat in terms of managing these whip crosses in, it's just non-existent. We're always getting picked off. Danny Welbeck had that free header, and then he had the chance to even header it in again, and it's just. I mean, Dean Henderson, to be fair, made a good sort of reaction save to the first header from Welbeck, but you know, the second one, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, it was unlucky, to be fair, but I just feel like aerially, you know, we've seen it. We've conceded so many goals from crosses, set pieces, whatever you call it, and it's just not on. And we don't seem to be doing anything about it. We don't seem to be learning from it. We don't seem to be learning from, you know, playing a higher line, pressing a lot more, like playing with a lot more intensity, passing a ball quicker. And we always go down. We always conceding goals. I'm being a bit harsh because, to be fair, like defensively we've been doing okay. I mean, today was another decent display defensively, but I just feel like with the goals that we do concede, I feel like we can. It's just because I feel like we can do more to stop these goals going in, and we're just not. But you know what? We conceded that goal. We did well in the second half. Ollie, whatever he said in the changing room, you know, had an impact because we came back and you know, we got the victory. And you know, I'm happy because, like I said, we're sitting second right now. We've got some interesting games coming up, and you know, going into Granada's game, you know, it's best that we have the confidence that we do have coming off of a win. So I'm happy about that. But anyway, let me move on to Greenwood. So Greenwood, again, had another fantastic game. You know, he's growing as a striker in other departments, as well as his goal scoring threat. You know, last season was, you know, prolific. This season, not so much. He's probably got a couple, but other aspects of his game has improved vastly. I mean, he's a lot more sharper. His decision making is a lot better. He's stronger. You know, his influence in the game, his impact in the game is great. I remember the difference between this year and last year was that Greenwood, yeah, was scoring goals, but I felt personally that outside of those goals, I didn't really see Greenwood. Greenwood was one of those players that can vanish out of the game. Whereas now, he's present in the game. Like I see him, like he's doing bits throughout the 90 minutes of the game when he's playing, and that says a lot. And if you can marry that performance, what he's doing off the ball without scoring or whatever, with his goal scoring, for, you know, it can only be one way, up. So I was proud of Greenwood, man. He gave another good performance today, and those goals will come if he keeps doing what he's doing. Those goals will come. I mean, those chances, his opportunities where he made good runs as well, and he just probably weren't being picked out by the likes of your Brunos, your Pogbas or whatever. But you know, he keeps doing what he's doing. You know, those goals are gonna keep. Those goals will come. Just keep working hard, Greenwood. He done well. I rated him. I rated him in that game. He done really well. Maguire, he was my man of the match. I felt like he had an amazing game, especially when he had that last ditch challenge. You may all remember that chance that I'm talking about. It looked like it was almost a one-on-one with our keeper, and Maguire got his leg up, blocked it, and I think that was a game changer. That tackle was a game changer tackle. That tackle was one of those tackles that decide the game. Yeah, it's a game changer. Decides the game, whether we go on to win or lose. And Maguire overall marshaled the defense well. There wasn't. Lindelof had a decent game, to be fair, as well. None of them was really threatened outside of that, you know, goal we conceded. We're not really getting battered. Luke Shaw played well. Wan-Bissaka had a decent game as well. But for me, Maguire, like he did well today. He stood out above the other defenders, the other players, and he gets the man of the match for me. I think he played really well. So shout out to Maguire, man. You held it down today. With all the degrees that I give you, Maguire, today, you know, you showed us a glimpse of what you can do. And I don't necessarily think Maguire is a bad player or Lindelof is a bad player. I just feel like their partnership is bad, and I feel like either of them partnered with, you know, a defender like Kounde, like a strong, pacey, you know, defender, it will be more complementary to either of them. And you see it when Eric Bailly plays. He's the Vidic of the two, you know. He's the quick one. He can keep up with the pacey attackers, and he allows, you know, Maguire or Lindelof to be able to do that sweeper role. I feel that that's when Maguire's at his best, doing that sweeper role, not going at these guys and getting burnt, playing high line and getting burnt because of his pace. Allows him to drop, let your Eric Bailly's or let those type of nature defenders do that work, and then you can come up and sweep and do what you need to do. But yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Maguire, I enjoyed it for Maguire. And Pogba, I feel like Pogba, we all know why, you know, we can see what we've been missing. Pogba's one of those guys who comes into the team and you realise that, damn, like, Pogba, man, like, again, for all of the stuff that I talk about with him being inconsistent, or however the fans feel about him being inconsistent, Pogba is no doubt, hands down, one of the best midfielders in the world. A unique talent, strength, quality, creativity. He's one of those guys that can change the game just like that, and we saw it today where, you know, even though he wasn't on his A game, he was the difference. He was the difference. I mean, he had that half assist, fluky assist what he done, but he was going to be the guy to do it. It would have been anyone else to do it. You know what I mean? Outside of Bruno Fernandes, it was only going to be Pogba, and he contributed where it was vitally needed, man. And then obviously we pounced on it and we got the goal. But you know, without Pogba, man, I mean, I can't see us winning anything with Fred and McTominay in the middle. We've really got to consider that, because if you look at the summer now, we've got 2 potential world-class guys leaving. And you may not know who the second one is, but David De Gea potentially, because, you know, obviously Pogba, it doesn't look like he wants to sign a new contract, and he's probably going to wait after the Euros to see what decision he wants to make, and see what, you know, clubs come in for him. It may be difficult in my mind, because I'm thinking we're going to demand a transfer fee, at least 50 million or something like that, or more, and then his wages are going to be crazy. I talked about it before. If he was on a free transfer, maybe it'll make sense, but are you going to be able to afford getting Pogba with a transfer fee of that much in COVID world, plus paying those big wages? It's yet to be seen. But yeah, and David De Gea, man. So obviously, he had his child, and I think like Dean Henderson now had the perfect opportunity to come in. He's been doing okay. Obviously, if I had to choose out of the two between David De Gea and Dean Henderson, I'm choosing David De Gea, because I know what I'm getting with David De Gea. He's been world class for God knows how many seasons. Yeah, he hasn't been as good over the last few seasons, but for what I see of David De Gea, I mean, he's levels above, Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson has had a few games here and there. He's played in Sheffield United and he done well there, but it's totally different to playing in front of all of our fans when they come back in front of a massive in a massive stadium under all of that pressure. Right now, you can't tell what's a home game and what's an away game this season. Let's see how he copes when you've got thousands of fans breathing behind your neck trying to put you off. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I still choose David De Gea, but at the same time, I know that his wages are high, and I know that it doesn't make sense having 2 goalkeepers that's costing us $500,000. So at the end of the day, a decision has got to get made at the end of the season, and I do think Dean Henderson will probably be the easier one to sell, but I do also remember Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying that Dean Henderson will one day be our #1 keeper, unless he's changed his mind and he goes back on his word. I feel like Dean Henderson is probably being lined up to be that person, and the media and everything else is supporting that sort of setup. So I won't be surprised if we lose David De Gea as well as Paul Pogba, and that will be a big blow. And I don't think you can have any transfer window that's going to make up for that. Losing that is just too much. It's too much experience you're losing, too much, you're losing people that's won the Premier Leagues and all of these trophies. You're losing that, man. And you can't just replace that. So, I'm worried, but Pogba just reminded us again why we can't afford to lose him, because we're just plain Jane without guys like him and Bruno Fernandes, really. So in terms of creativity, but we got to pull it out the bag to try and at least keep Pogba. Pull it out the bag. We got to keep him. We got to keep him. Cavani, like I said, I'm happy that he's back. With Cavani though, he had a really, really quiet game, and I know in the first half, like, our final third ball was crap. The attackers weren't getting anything, and I know we talk about as fans, we ain't providing enough for our attackers, but then I look at guys like Martial. Obviously he's been playing centre forward and he's not playing in probably his best position, which is out wide to the left. And then you've got Rashford, and I have a particular emphasis on Rashford because Rashford has been played. Rashford has been played in his position out wide on the left. And Rashford's one of those ones what you want to be carrying the ball, like carrying, creating himself, not just looking at Bruno Fernandes or Pogba, but doing it himself. And over the season, I haven't seen enough of that. And sometimes with Rashford, his decision making is not always the best. We saw it today again, where he's tried to do a bit too much, dribble, run into a sea of players, and end up losing the ball when you should be trying to release the ball earlier. Do you know what I mean? Look for the man that's open in open space. You know what I mean? He runs too much into traffic, and it just gets us into trouble a lot of the time. And you know, it's just frustrating. But Cavani was one of those guys that, you know, he's not getting supply because Rashford, Greenwood, even though he's stepping up his game, Greenwood, and is providing a lot more, they're not out and out creators. You know, they're not creators. They haven't got the brain of someone like Mahrez, who's always trying to find, you know, your pass most of the time, or your ZX or anything like that, or your Sanchos. If we, you know, these guys are guys that usually will cut in and try to shoot. You know, Greenwood, you can see it. Rashford, you can see it. Supply's not there. Cavani had a really quiet game today, man. A really quiet game. His laces didn't even get dirty, and I don't know if it was down to, you know, rustiness of him, you know, being out for a bit, and maybe he needed to get into the run of things. But for me, he didn't look like a guy that whose head and heart was in it at Manchester United. And you know, he's been linked with moves away, going back home to, you know, South America, and maybe that's just playing in the back of his mind. We've heard, like, is it his agent or his dad or something like that come out and sort of add fuel to the fire with this move away in the summer. So potentially we could be seeing a guy that's you know, checked out maybe. But, you know, I'm just hoping that he can finish the season strong. You know, we're still in Europa League. You know, we've got a good chance of winning that, and, you know, we've got a good chance of finishing second and just finishing the season as strongly as we could be. And we need everyone to be able to do that. We need Cavani to do that as well. So we're kind of short up top with attacking options, and we really need him to step up and get his head in the game. So hopefully it was just ring rust. Hopefully he'll bounce back. Maybe he'll get a game against Granada because Martial's out. It looked like Rashford picked up a knock as well, so we have to just cross our fingers on that. But it looks like potentially, you know, Cavani might even be playing again, back to back again against Granada. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But yeah, Rashford, man, he looked like he limped off, and he was never fully fit, and we all know he's not fully fit. He's injured. His ankle, he hasn't fully recovered. His shoulder, he hasn't fully recovered. He went to international break. He wanted to bond with his teammates. Soon after that, he got sent right back home to Manchester, Old Trafford, to continue his rehabilitation, I guess, for this game. You know, he came off on the 70th minute, but, you know, he got a challenge and he picked up a knock. So, you know, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. Maybe we can potentially rest him against Granada. Maybe we've got enough with, you know, Dan James, you know, Diallo, you know, Cavani, you know, Greenwood getting the job done, and then maybe playing Rashford in the second leg. Maybe he's, you know, ice his ankle. Maybe it'll be enough for him to play against in the Premier League. And our next game, I don't even know who our next game is again, but I'll check that. But Rash is a soldier. Rash is a guy that wants to play every minute of every game. So I won't be surprised if I see Rashford playing against Granada. I really wouldn't. He really is a soldier, and he really needs to be looked after by the medical staff, because he's the type of player that would say yes, 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 yes. And you can see his shoulders out and his ankles out, and he's still playing. So he needs to be protected, and our club needs to make sure that we protect him. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, in that game, I saw that, you know, again, you can, if you watch that game, you'll know that Manchester United, and if you watch Manchester United, you know that most of our attack comes from the left-hand side. That's where we're our biggest threat, and it doesn't surprise me by any chance, you know, by any bit, because you got Luke Shaw, he's in a form of his life right now on the left-hand side, and he links in really well with Rashford. You know, Rashford's our best attacking threat on the left-hand side, and it doesn't surprise me that most of our attack comes from the left-hand side. But you can see how lopsided we are, and it makes us easy to play against, because if you only got Aaron Wan-Bissaka to worry about on the right hand side, you know, and Greenwood is not a natural winger anyway, you can kind of relax a little bit. Greenwood, don't get me wrong, he's, you know, both footed, he can dribble, he can do all of that stuff, crossing and stuff, but I would be able to feel a bit more comfortable knowing that, you know, there's not the likes of a Sancho or proper out and out wing on that side. You know, and knowing how Manchester United play, watching them, everyone knows kind of how to set up against us, because you know that all your attacks come in there. You'll have, you know, Rashford getting doubled up, tripled up against, because, you know, it was kind of predictable in that first half, you know, especially. We were really predictable, man. Really predictable the way we're playing. We're playing like a championship club at times. And it's only after that goal that went in that things changed. And I must say, Rashford's goal was pure class. Bruno again, bombing forward, driving forward, you know, slipping in Rashford with the correct amount of power. Rashford just took that so sweetly, opened up his body, slotted it in, Henry-esque. And it was a lovely finish, and we all want to see more from Rashford. That is the Rashford that we know. That is the Rashford that, you know, when we're starting getting excited as Manchester United fans, calling him, you know, world class and stuff, or, you know, something along those lines, en route to becoming that. That's the type of performances that we like to see. But unfortunately, those type of performances are not as frequent as we would like to see. They're bit part here and there. And Rashford's one of those guys. He's frustrating because he will do like a lot of, you know, make wrong decisions and stuff like that, and do things that will frustrate you. But he's also equally a guy that is very difficult to sub off because of the lack of attack and power that we've got on the bench, for one. But also he's one of those guys that can have a poor 80 minutes, and then the final 10 minutes he has a decent game where he gets an assist out of nothing, and then you're just like, it's justified why you kept him on. But you know, that goal was amazing. I have to give him that. Rashford, that goal was amazing. Bruno, another assist for you. Rashford, another goal to your tally, man. Let's break this last season's, you know, scoring record, man. But, you know, like I said, the crosses into our boxes are a big issue. I really do feel like we need to address that, man, because we're just... I get worried, I get anxious, I get nervous. With Dean Henderson, I feel slightly more comfortable because he's really good at coming out of his box and trying to claim that ball more than what De Gea would do, because it's not, you know, that's where De Gea struggles. But in today's game, you know, there was that time where he grabbed that ball, then he dropped it, and that could have easily have been, you know, another goal if it fell in, you know, just, we got lucky, you know. We got lucky in that game. We rolled our luck because there was times where, you know, Maguire, you know, could have given away a penalty, and you're just thinking, you know, please ref, don't blow that whistle, You know, it's one of those games, like we really did ride our luck, and we got away with it. And I remember the time when we rolled our luck where we got the win after 90 minutes, and no one's seen that before. And Brighton just do that to us. Brighton's one of those teams that do it to us, man. We never make it easy, and I'm not surprised because these teams, you know, Brighton's not necessarily fighting for their lives because they already got out of the whole relegation drop zone bit. But when you're playing teams at the bottom of the league that have nothing to lose, they're safe as well. That even makes them still more threatening, you know what I mean? Because they can go out and reckless with it because they've got nothing to protect either. They just, you know, they can do what they want to do. So it made for a good game anyway, because Brighton was attacking us and it allowed us to get in behind them. But they still set up well defensively, Brighton. They'll going back, whenever we was on a counter, they'll get back in numbers real quick, you know, their shape, you know, getting into shape well. They really did well, but to do that for the whole 90 minutes is never going to be easy. It's always going to be challenging. You do get tired. Your sort of focus drops a little bit when you're tired, and then that's when Manchester United are able to step it up a bit and you know, take over in that game. But yeah, with Manchester United again, I mean, I'm happy to see Pogba back, and Fred, he did well. He made some key interceptions, but I would really like us to be dominating the midfield, dominating these games. And I just, you know, I keep referring to City and I watch how they control the game, and Manchester United, we struggle to control the game, dictate it. Yeah, we may have more possession most times, but I just never feel comfortable. It feels like McTominay or Fred are always running around here and there, trying to chase the ball. We're getting played rings around rather than us doing it to our opposition, you know. And I really do feel like it's key that we do address the midfield in the summer. I've been saying it for a minute. I like McTominay in certain ways. Do you know what I mean? He's Man United through and through. He's strong. He's physical. You know, the box to box type style. Fred, you know, again, he's energetic. He'll cover every blade of grass. You know, he puts his heart, soul, and mind into every game. But at the same time, I do feel like we need more quality in that midfield. Someone that can dictate the tempo. Someone that can allow Pogba to roam freely and feel okay, you know. And at the moment, we don't have that with Scott McTominay and Fred. So hopefully we can address that in the summer. And let's see what Ollie has to say, you know, Ollie has to do, because, you know, he came out in his interview saying, you know, we're linked with every Tom, Dick and Harry. I'm paraphrasing, it's not really what he said, but it was just like, hopefully he will be, you know, can be getting someone or signing someone along those lines that, you know, the press hasn't talked about. So hopefully he's doing stuff in a background where, you know, maybe he's going for some smart deals, smart businesses, you know, up and coming talent. Maybe the scouting team is doing work that, you know, behind the scenes, you know, and that's exciting. I mean, I was excited about Moises Caicedo. You ain't heard his name for a long time, but obviously that broke down because of how he was, you know, managed. But I want us to be getting the next gems instead of us spending fortunes, especially in COVID world. It just ain't gonna happen. So we really have got to be moving smart in the transfer window, because we've got a lot of gaps to plug, and we don't have infinite resources we don't have infinite money. So we have to get smart and creative, man. And I hope that our scouts come through, and I hope that Ollie knows what he's doing as well in the summer. But yeah, I mean, Manchester United, I mean, that was a real good team goal. Rashford's goal, I would say. Obviously, Greenwood, I was happy to see him get on a goal, his goal as well. And I want to see more of that. I don't want to see it all the time, Manchester United having to do this worldy 30-yard, 20-yard goal, or this, you know, last gasp winner. I just want us to all be able to have the easy goals, be able to have the team goals, instead of us, you know, just like a worldie, or dependent on one of our key players to get us out of trouble. I want us to have, you know, more team cohesion, a lot of team brilliance, like just play as a team better, you know. And we did that for parts of this game today, and I'd like to see more of that, and I'd like to be able to see us operate without the likes of Bruno sometimes, you know, without the likes of Pogba sometimes, or Rash, and us still be okay. And I don't think we're quite there yet, and I do think it's fine margins today. We got the victory because we had a strong team of Bruno, Pogba and Rashford. And, you know, without having our strongest team, we're just very vulnerable. And that's the difference potentially between 1 point getting a draw and 3 points. Manchester United has been really consistent in the fact that, you know, we hardly lose games, but we haven't been consistent in terms of getting the 3 points. There's a lot of draws in our record, in our season. And they, you know, they come when we haven't got a full squad at times. It comes when, you know, we just haven't got that extra bit of vum in the final third. So there's all these factors, and we've got a lot of room for improvement. But, you know, we're sitting second right now. I can't complain. You know, with all of the negatives, there's positives. We're second. You know, we're God knows how many points behind City, double figures, but we have got a game in hand. You know, we're 4 points ahead of Leicester. I think 3 or 4 points ahead of Leicester. We're about 9 points ahead of Chelsea. So we've got a nice gap, you know, ahead of them. Chelsea surprisingly lost against West Brom, battered 5-2, and we'll take that. Leicester dropped points as well against City. I mean, that goes without saying. Anyone that's coming up against City right now is, you know, catching L's. But, you know, it just overemphasized the importance of us needing to get a win today, and we did it. So, do you know what I mean? Onwards and upwards, you know. That's just my say on it. I'm happy, I'm gassed. The badge, kiss the badge. Manchester United, we move. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and support the team.